So I have to tell you all, Dr. Piercy was right. I thought about going home after Commissioner Schwinn. But I am so excited to be here with you guys today because DHS it is the place to be right now. When we talk about impact to children and families, we are not just moving the needle, we are changing lives. You heard the song, if you were listening, and I know it's not one of the more popular songs, but it talks about if you're out there, which you are, I know you are, that you are part of the change. If you're out there, we collectively, we together can end hunger. That we together, if you're out there, can make lives better. And so when they ask me for a song, I'm not going to be Commissioner Williams. I will spare you from any song or any singing because you all would not be out there anymore. But the song to me said, this is what DHS 2019 is. We are on a journey of transformation, and it's an exciting time. 2 years ago, we really began this journey, and Smitha mentioned it a little bit. We talked about the changes we're making for families. Now, I'm a recovering attorney. I am still working my way through that. But I joined the Department of Human Services approximately 15 years ago. And when I came to the Department of Human Services, I fell in love. I knew then that the mission was why I needed to do this work. I knew when we went out and we visited with our families who were receiving TANF or SNAP or child care assistance or vocational rehabilitation, when you see it in action, I knew that we could help families. But 15 years ago, let's be honest, we were checking a box on a piece of paper to talk about income eligibility and all of the other host of things that the federal government requires us to verify. The last few years, we've really been intentionally focused on wrapping our arms around the family. You heard Commissioner Schwinn mention that. We've been very intentional about having a two-generation approach because we know that the only way to impact poverty is to wrap our arms around the family. Mom can't go to work if she's worried about childcare. I know for me as a parent, when I get a call from my child's school, from my daughter's school, the first thing that happens, what's the first thing that happens? You panic. Your heart sinks, and the first thing you think of is, how quickly can I get there? Now, if you don't have that social capital around you, that environment to lift you, you're never going to succeed. And we begin to have cycles of poverty. We began to connect with partners, and we really began to lift those families, those communities into places of success. We began to have a more intentional focus on DHS. We said, when you come to our office, you're no longer just checking a box. We're asking you, what do you want? What do you need? Because I will tell you, for so long, government has been, well, we're bureaucrats, all right? You come to us and we tell you, this is what you need for you to be better. Well, no, I don't know. And you're not going to be quote unquote better. What you can be is stronger. And we are partners in this journey. So we began to talk to our partners about helping us in this journey. We had to take a look at our own communication because we knew that we had to change our own language so that we're not talking about our customers and our families from a deficit perspective, but from a strengths-based perspective. We had to talk to our families from the perspective of understanding that adverse childhood experiences really does have an impact on the way that people think and act and behave. We had to wrap our arms around those families so that we knew that we could ask behavioral-based questions so that we could figure out how to take a family not from point A to point B, but from point A to success. We talk about our families not in terms of getting a job, but in terms of getting a career. So there's a lot of work that's been going on over the last 2 years, and that's been exciting. But guess what? There is so much more to do. We have, when I tell you that we are transforming DHS, we don't use the word transforming, we use the word revolutionize. So when I tell you all, and you guys are looking at me because you said no bureaucrat has ever revolutionized. These bureaucrats are revolutionizing. We're going to do it. We're going to change our technology. Because in 2019, you should be able to use your phone and apply for services. I know, right? It's 2019. In 2019, you should be able to take a snapshot of whatever documents we need and upload them so that you don't have to come and spend time in our office. In 2019, you should be able to text your caseworker. We should be able to do all of those things, and we should be able to revolutionize the experience. Now, I will tell you all, and I think you all would agree with me, nobody wakes up on a Monday or Tuesday or a Wednesday morning and says, you know, I think I'm going to go hang out for 2.5 hours at a DHS office so I can fill out some paperwork, and maybe my caseworker will get back to me. Nobody says that. So what are we going to do? If you do all of that online or on the phone or whatever, when you're coming into our office, one, let's be clear, we've changed the wait times. I didn't brag about that, but the wait times are down from 2.5 hours to 5 minutes. Let's talk about that. But when you come into our office, you're meeting with someone who can say and talk to you and ask you, what do you need? Do you want to go back to school? Because guess what? We have a partnership with TN Reconnect. Is your son or daughter a senior or junior? Guess what? We have a good partnership with TN Promise. We can help you with that FAFSA paperwork, and we can help your child transition into higher education. Do you have a child that's birthed through 5? Well, we'll help you connect to child care. And guess what? We're also going to connect you with books from birth so that your child has a book when they come home every month. But we're not just going to give you access to the book. We're also going to give you help on how to engage your child in reading that book so that that becomes a true family experience. So now when you're talking to us, you have that full customer experience. When we talk about the path forward, we talk about innovation. One of the things I always say is we can't get there if we stay here. And sometimes in thinking about our children, I definitely act like a 2-year-old often in my office. I will stand very still and I will say, but why? And they'll give me an answer and I'll say, why? And they'll give me another answer and I'll say, no. Why? Because it's up to us to figure out how we change, how we revolutionize, how we do things differently. What we learned as we continue to push the bounds, we are able to think differently. Yesterday, we were able to announce a subsidy rate increase for childcare for the first time in over 10 years. We know that if we help our providers, we heard from our providers. We were out there, front lines, talking to them. We said, what do you need? They said, we need additional funding. I said, guess what? That we can do. Well, it wasn't quite that easy, but hey, doesn't matter. We also know that there's got to be additional innovation if we want people to be successful. There's got to be innovation in the hours of child care. There's got to be innovation in where child care is located. There's got to be innovation in our partnerships that support those families as they're going through and having employment and educational opportunities. So we're studying that now. By this summer, we hope to have a whole plan of incentives for people who offer child care in those non-traditional hours and places. We're partnering with businesses to say, you need workforce that needs child care. And pretty soon you're going to have a high workforce partnered right up against a high quality child care center. We're changing our language when it comes to childcare. When we talk about childcare, we're not talking about having a kid sitting in a place for 7.5 hours or 8 hours a day staring at a TV screen or staring at the wall. We are pushing people to quality because we know that from birth to 5, we've got to get it right. So we're innovating. We're modernizing. We are revolutionizing that customer experience. And what we know is that we need you. I think Commissioner Swin talked about the ask. And I wasn't prepared to come for an ask, but I'm going to ask, because normally when you come for an ask, people say, oh, gracious, let me close my pocketbook. My ask of you is to join us on this journey, to be part of this revolution, to be part of this change. I know that you are out there. I know that you are part of the change that this state needs to see to be better than it was yesterday. I know that together we can make Tennessee have stronger communities, stronger families, stronger cities, and ultimately, a thriving Tennessee. Thank you all for the work that you do, and thank you for being our partner.